Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sparkle Safety Spot. We are coming to you live on location from the Springfield Fire Department in Springfield, Nebraska. We are very, very happy to be here today. We would like to thank Chief Jason Lutz, is that correct? Jason Lutz for having us here today. And we also have a very special guest with us. We have Firefighter James Engberg. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, James.
Thank you.
So, Molly and I are very, very thrilled to be here today. And if you would, first off, let's talk about the community of Springfield, Nebraska. Tell us a little bit about it.
We're just 15 minutes south of Omaha. We've got roughly 1,500 people that live here in town. Everybody likes is just that small town, but you got the big city amenities to it. So
yeah, it's very nice because Omaha, you can get in your car or truck, and it's just like 20 minutes from here.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. We run about 250 calls a year. Actually, I think we're going to be up this year because we're at over 60 already.
Over at 60 already, and it's just now, it's March,
Yeah.
so that's not a good sign. I know that since I've been here, it seems like you guys have had a lot of calls, a lot of grass fires going on. Yeah.
Like 7 in the last week or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, is that unusual to have so many in 1 week? Or
maybe in a week, yeah, but this time of year it's going to be dry as it is and as windy as it's been. I imagine we're not done. I know we're nowhere near done.
I would imagine too that Springfield is in the same situation as many other towns in the country in that it is so dry. I just don't think I don't know how we're ever going to catch up with all the moisture. Do you?
Hopefully some good rain coming up.
Hopefully so. I know since I've been up here, Molly and I have been up here for about almost 5 weeks now, and we have seen it all as far as the weather. We've seen snow. We've seen really nice weather, and it has just been kind of up and down like this. So it's a lot for you guys to handle, I'm sure, with the variety of weather that you have up here. Well, let's talk a little bit about your fire station first, or your fire department. How long has your fire department been in existence?
Actually, this year is our 100-year anniversary. So
nice. So are you going to be celebrating? Have a big celebration this year, or do something special?
I'm not really sure what we have planned. I think there's some other members who'd like to see something like that done. Get some past members and do a big get together. I think it'd be nice.
Well, we will keep up to date, keep watching your Facebook page and see what you guys have going on, because 100 years. Think about what the firefighters' gear and what it was like 100 years ago fighting a fire. It's a lot different than it is today, right?
Yeah, I like what we've got now.
Yes.
I can't imagine what they had.
So, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been a firefighter?
I've been on for about 1.5 years, and I'm actually 4th generation. So,
are you really?
Yep.
Wow.
Me, my dad, and my grandpa are on, and then my great-grandpa was on.
Really? Yep. On this department?
Yep.
Really? Wow. So was he around whenever the beginning of the fire department? Your great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I don't know if he was around at the very beginning, but
towards the beginning of it. That is very cool. So do you have his gear or his helmet from way back then?
No.
Yeah.
I think my grandpa might. But I'm not sure.
So your grandpa is still active on the fire department?
Yep. He's one of our drivers.
Really? That is awesome.
He's been on since like 1964.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And my dad's been on 20 years, and then so.
Wow. So are there other members of your department that it's a generational thing, or is it pretty much you?
There might be 1 or 2 of them who's not here, but other places have a family member doing it. We've got a couple sets of husband and wives doing it. Actually, my dad being one of them. My dad and my stepmom are both on together.
Okay.
And then we have another. I think we just have 2 sets of husbands and wives.
Wow. So how many firefighters do you have on your department, would you say?
We have approximately 30.
That's a good number.
30 active.
So is this all volunteer, or is this a combination? It is
all
a volunteer. Okay.
All volunteer.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your fire station here, which is very, very beautiful. I mean, you guys are lucky for a very small town to have such an amazing amazing fire department. So I would imagine you get a lot of community support. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Every October during Fire Prevention Week, we have our open house and make a bunch of barbecue, family activities.
That's
and
awesome.
Get a ton of people. We've been in this station for, I want to say, five or 6 years now. Because the old station we were at, we outgrowing it.
Yeah.
And we had to, if you needed a tanker, you had to pull the engines out to get the tanker out, and then back them back in.
I can relate to that because my department's kind of in that situation where you have to park vehicles at a certain angle to make sure you can get them all in. I completely understand. Okay, so you have how many bays? I'm going to see if I can find a picture while you're telling about this.
We have 7 trucks total. I think we have just bay space. I think we have 10 bays. In our bays at the very end, there's our wash bays, and we can open both up and pull through. It's also got a hydrant down there. We can fill the trucks right there. And then it's also got big drains by our power washer. We can wash in the open bays there. We can do 2 at a time even.
That is very, very nice. So how many, tell us about your trucks. Tell us what you have.
Well, we've got 2 engines. Our engine 1, which is the one right behind us, that's the one we take for structure fires and things like that. Engine 2 is our car accident truck. It's got the jaws of life, and then we have 2 tankers, and they've got small pumps on, but they just carry water, and they're each 2,000 gallons. We have 2 rescue squads and 1 weed truck, and that's what we take for grass fires.
Okay. So here is a picture of the fire station that we're at. As you can see, sorry for the glare there. There we go. Very, very nice station, isn't it? It is very, very nice, and they sure are lucky. Now, is this the truck we are?
Yes, that's the one we're in
This
front
is the
of
one. Here's the bay area.
That's our engine 1 there.
Engine 1, and we're going to be sure to get a picture of Molly on that. And speaking of Molly, let's check in and see what she's doing, shall we? And there you have it. Molly, do you want to say hi to everybody? She says, I think I'll keep sleeping. She got up early this morning. So now you brought, is this your helmet or is this somebody else's?
This one's mine.
Okay.
So
tell the boys and girls about this, about your...
Well, we wear it everywhere we go. I've got actually, the only reason I have 2 flashlights on here is because last month we kind of have an incentive-based deal for top responders, and I was a top responder, so I got a new flashlight last month.
Oh, cool.
So I kept my old one on there too. So
congratulations for that. And tell the boys and girls what a top responder is.
I just made the most calls out of everybody.
That's nice. See, when you're a volunteer, boys and girls, that means that you could be at work, you could be at the grocery store, you could be at anywhere, and you get paged out. And so basically what this means is that he dropped whatever he was doing and responded to the most fires, which is awesome.
And a majority of the calls I made last month were all in the middle of the night. So,
really? So there you go. So there you go. Now,
so I lost a lot of sleep last month.
You did, but by golly, you were really doing a good service for your community. So this is leather, isn't it?
No, this is
It is so heavy. Why is it so heavy, I wonder?
It's just that style helmet.
This is a lot heavier than mine is. It has an extra, up here it has some extra protection.
I think it's just part of the material of that, and then that style helmet they're so much bigger than some of the other more smaller ones are. And so. Now
these are your accountability tags. Would you like to? Is that right? You want to tell the boys and girls what happens with these?
Well, for example, if we're going to like a house fire, since we have 2 of them, we leave one of them in the truck, so that way we know who's on the truck, and then there's somebody at the door who's got a board with rings on it, and you give one to them so they know who's inside.
Right.
And so it's just so we can keep tabs on people where they're at and what rig they came out on. So.
Now I really like your shield. Let's see if I can put your eye shield down for me. Yeah. And there we go. Check out this really nice looking shield that he has here. Says Springfield. And what is the 385?
That's our identification number.
Okay. All right. For the whole department?
Yeah.
So everybody has.
No, everybody's got a different one.
Oh, you mean your own personal number
like
actually
number.
goes right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because our captains, our numbers start at 300, and our chief is 300, and our assistant is 301, and then I think we go down to 305 is all our captains.
Okay.
But everybody else will also have their own number, and so like my dad, for example, is 335. So.
Mm-hmm. So, does your chiefs have the white helmets?
Yeah, our chiefs have the white ones.
And then what about your lieutenants? Do they have captains?
Captains
have
yellows.
Yellow.
And then firefighters have black.
Okay, awesome. So you have one chief. How about assistant chiefs?
We have one assistant chief.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And then we have 4 captains.
4 captains. So do you want to be captain someday?
I think so.
Maybe. Yeah, someday.
Yeah. Not now.
Yeah. How much more? We were talking earlier about how you were in school. You're going to Southeast Community College there in Lincoln. They have a fire protection. They have a fire protection program. Mm-hmm. So how much longer do you have to go to school?
It's based on a quarter system, and it mostly depends on if you've got any certifications prior to enrolling. Like I had my firefighter one, so I actually should be done in this December actually. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I started last October. So
yeah,
just a little over a year.
Yep.
It kind of varies on your scheduling with it.
You also have, from what I understand, you have a lot of in-house training here. Is that right?
Yep. Three nights a month. Well, at least 3 nights a month, and then occasionally if there's outside things that come in, and then just throughout the state, there's other training opportunities people will go to.
And boys and girls, training is so important. Firefighters never stop training. Your grandpa and your dad, they never stop training, and they've been fighting fires for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really important that the firefighters stay up to date on their training, and a couple of reasons. One is that things are always changing, like the materials in a house were different back when your great-grandfather fought fires than how you fight fires today. And there are always new technologies and new things going on that the firefighters need to be trained on. So let's talk a little bit about, because I wanted to talk about this. One time I was at the National Fire Academy taking a class in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and I was in bed in my pajamas, and the smoke alarm. I got smoke alarm on the brain. I hear a siren, and I go in my pajamas to the front desk of the building, and I said, where do we go for a tornado? And the guy at the desk laughed at me, and he said, that is not a tornado siren. That is for our fire department. Well, same thing here. Yep. Same thing here. That day, I don't know if you remember it, but the day there was a really strong snowstorm, it was maybe a couple weeks ago, and you guys got called out in the middle of the day during this really bad snowstorm. Now, I had heard the tornado sirens go off in Omaha, and I came here and I thought, what's going on? But that's actually the alert to alert alert the firefighters that there's a fire, right?
Yep.
So tell us about that siren, and tell us what you do when you hear that, and also tell us the difference between that and the tornado siren.
Okay. Our tornado siren, for a lot of people, is like the siren sounds like it's going like up and down. Our tornado siren is just one solid sound. Okay. And then if we have a call, it's the sign that goes up and down, and a lot of times I think it's used mostly just for people if they don't have their pagers. Okay. You can hear that to go, but.
Is that something that's been done for a really, really long time to alert the firefighters here in this community?
For as long as I can remember.
Really? Yeah. So I guess with a small community, that really makes a lot of sense because everybody can hear it and that sort of thing. Yeah. But you had mentioned at Soccer games. Tell the story about soccer games.
Well, if there's soccer tournaments or softball tournaments in town, people from out of town who don't realize that's our siren for our call, they hear that, and it's actually pretty comical to watch their reactions sometimes in the middle of the game, or even the refs will stop the game and they'll be wondering where to go, and then somebody's got to assure them, don't worry, it's not a tornado.
Right. That's right.
It's pretty comical.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I know that I am just terrified of tornadoes, and they're actually, like I said, they went off in Omaha. They didn't go off it for the same reason. Yeah. It's because of maybe there was a malfunction with the tornado siren or whatever. And then it came here too, and I thought, tornadoes are everywhere. It's like my dad said, no. That's not a tornado. I was wanting to go for a basement. I was wanting to find a basement somewhere. Well, well,
at least you'd be ready for it.
I was ready, right. So I tell you what we could do, since we have a pretty good signal right here. Let's tell a little bit about Engine 1 here. Okay. And how long have you guys had this truck, do you know?
We've had it since 1995 or 96.
1995. Now, I'm going to turn the computer around so the boys and girls can see it.
And this is our oldest truck we have. Actually, here in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll actually be looking to replace it.
Really?
So, yep.
Wow, like totally replacing it, or?
Yep, getting a whole new one.
Really? Wow.
It's a great truck. For as old as it is, it's not built with all the fancy new computers that malfunction. Mm-hmm. And this thing will pump water all day if you need it to.
That is very awesome.
It's got a 750-gallon tank on it, and I think it'll pump 1,250 gallons a minute. We can carry 6 firefighters. Well, 5 firefighters and a driver to wherever we're going with it.
Do you have to have a minimum number of firefighters when you go to a call?
Yeah. Well, on the rigs we do. We'd like to go with no less than 4 on
Really? That's good.
But sometimes it varies on what the call is and at the discretion of, like, if the chief is around.
Right.
There's been a couple instances where I've been the only one in the back before.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends.
So tell the boys and girls, we see a pike pole up there. It's a really long one that you have up there, and also a ladder. Mm-hmm. And do you have a couple different ladders on there? I can't tell.
Yep, the one on top, it's got a couple hooks. That's our roof ladder.
Right.
And we can put those hooks out, and we can put it over the eave of a roof, and it'll hold, so we get somewhere to balance ourselves on. And then the one with the ropes is just our extension ladder. Right. And we also have an attic ladder up there too.
I thought I saw one. Yeah, I thought I saw one.
Yep, it folds up, and I think it's like 10 feet tall or something.
Yes. Now, I'm going to kind of turn this around, and I'm probably going to have you talk a little bit louder to tell about the gear that we have that's over there for the firefighters.
All right. Well, the gear on the far left, that's our chief's gear. It's just, we've got our DOT regulates. We have to have those reflective vests if we're on the highway for car accidents.
And tell the boys and girls what DOT is.
It's the Department of Transportation. It's like a federal department. And some people, like for the boots in their gear, some people have rubber boots and other people have leather boots. Leather boots tend to be pretty expensive. But in my opinion, they're worth it because I've got leather ones, and they fit like a tennis shoe, and they're a lot more comfortable to be in for 6+ hours, right? Rather than the rubber boots. But some people prefer the rubber boots. But
it's just a matter of preference, and you guys get to pick then. Now, is that an ambulance on the other side?
Yep, that's our ambulance. That's our front line ambulance on the other side. So
now
that's the one we use mostly.
So that is is that the main ambulance in this area then?
Just for our district.
For your district.
Yeah, for our district, that's the main one. But we started 6 months ago. We started taking 2 ambulances to every call because it helps quicken our response times, and it's nice knowing that you'll have extra help there if you need it.
Right. Very nice. So. Well, I appreciate you sharing all this with us today. And before we go, I need to show a couple of pictures. We always show the boys and girls what Molly has been up to. So let me see if I could find these real quick. Molly has been very busy here in Nebraska. We visited a ton of preschools. I lost count. Here's Molly at the state capitol. The other day we were in Lincoln. So there she is. Here she is at a preschool there in Lincoln. And if you could see, she's in my lap. She was being very silly that day. Oh, here's another one. She really, really likes that. And for you boys and girls out there that may have never seen this before, it's kind of fuzzy, and I apologize for that. But that is a black squirrel.
Actually, it's kind of weird. We have several of those around.
Yeah, my folks have they live in their subdivision there in Omaha. And here is Molly, right here by Engine 1, getting ready to live stream. So I'll let you see Molly one more time. Let me see if I can get her to wake up. Molly. Woo-hoo. I tell you what, she is just snug as a bug in a rug down here. So, well, James, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us today. We'd also like to thank your chief and all the firefighters for allowing us the opportunity to live stream today. I think we're going to go get some pictures of Molly on the trucks that we could share with the boys and girls. Good. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next week on Sparkle Safety Spot. We'll be back in Clarksville, Arkansas for that, so we look forward to seeing you. We'd also like to thank our good sponsor. We'd like to thank First Alert for all they do to help us keep fire safe, and this is also brought to you by the Keep Kids Fire Safe Foundation. Ah, look at this. She's like, wait, I got to say goodbye. Oh, first she's got to get that good stretch in. And this program is also brought to you by the Keep Kids Fire Safe Foundation. So from Springfield, Nebraska, this is Dayna and Molly, the fire safety dog, Firefighter James, saying goodbye. See ya. Later. Bye. Stay safe, everybody. Hello, Molly. Now you show up.